Here on Splash Play, and with the NFL Combine afoot, I've got one goal for today: to grab every rookie I like before I presume the Combine shows how good these players are, how much everybody else wants them. Let's try to figure it out. Of course, I am already in a draft room, an Underdog Big Board draft, 200K to first place in this one. Of course, all the rookies available, all the free agents available, and it's up to you to choose your own adventure about where you want it to go. And of course, I have some takes on that as we talk about every day here, updating with the news items that are floating around out there, updating with all the reports and innuendos floating around up there. And another day, another draft here. But today, look, I've talked about my rookie four horsemen, I guess, my quadrumvirate of guys that I'd like to get as rookies in every draft relative to ADP. Jade Daniels at QB, at running back, Audric Estime, at wide receiver, Troy Franklin, who comes up by the day, including me having to take him in a wide receiver avalanche in the 70s yesterday, and at tight end, ideally Brock Bowers, but Ben Sinnott would also count as my 4. Now, getting that 4 would be great. Today, though, I'd like to get everyone. I want MHJ. I want Neighbors. I want Bucky Irving, who was on the thumbnail today. And if you don't know his name, you should, you filthy bastard. You should know Bucky Irving's name. Very exciting player. High avoided tackle rate. A little bit small, Jahmyr Gibbs sized. But the hope is that with Gibbs getting his results he got last year, Bucky Irving is the hope this year. So we'll be identifying these guys as we go. And yesterday the question was asked, like, how many rookies is too many in a draft like this? We're going to find out today, guys, because I think you can make the case for 10 to 12 rookies. But obviously the ADP's going to align weirdly, so we'll figure it out. I stream my player takes so I can have nice things. That's true. A lot of people in these rooms do often know the players I like. And then when my name comes up, they make sure to take that player before I go or slightly after I go, but ahead of ADP. So that has been how it's gone lately. But today's my day, guys. Today's the day that we can believe. Oh, no, another Poophead draft. Yeah, Poophead loves taking all the guys that I enjoy and then getting mad at me for it. So I will say for Poophead, though, he took Breece Hall, a nice pick for him. We're living. We're getting some rooks. I was about to curse, but why? Who's going to be better than A.J. Brown this year? Marvin Harrison Jr. Actually saw a nice short from our guy, Pete Overzet, of course, my podcast host on Splash Play, though, alumnus, I guess we could say maybe at this point. For Pete, though, great short talk about the Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr. thing and how he basically is not worried about its effect on Trey McBride's opportunity. And I agree with that. I do think the ADPs, though, definitely a little bit frothy. All right, so Malik Neighbors, I don't think is going to be there at 36. We're living. I'm the 9th loosest drafter out of all the 150 maxers in BBM4, according to our guy Brick's data. So Malik Neighbors, come on down. We're doing it, bud. An MHJ Malik Neighbors start. We're getting unique. Nobody's getting this one. Yeah, Pete really sums it up well in that short if you do want to check it out. I know Pete's been working hard or having his production team. Pete's got a production team. So you can tell where we are ranking overall in the hierarchy. But Pete crushing with the content and getting out the shorts. But that short really does sum it up well, where it's like, I still think fundamentally, like, Trey McBride's going to come down if the Cardinals for sure get Marvin Harrison. But I would say, like, he's right that the offense is going to be better. Trey McBride being there is going to help out Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison being there more so is going to help out Trey McBride in terms of the efficiency, probably not in terms of the volume. Like, I don't think we see that ceiling of Trey McBride getting 14 targets again. But I still think, honestly, you can still hit that as a ceiling. Like, it's not crazy that he could do that in one game, but you're just not going to see that reliably. But a very efficient 5 to 8 targets a game, hopefully closer to 8, would look great for Trey McBride. So I think he still would come down in ADP because of how the markets go and people then freaking out and going, oh, I have to like bump him down because Harrison's there. But in reality, like, he can pay off a pick 50s, pick late 40s price tag, and he'll probably go down to the 60s, I would guess, if we do see MHJ go to Arizona. Not sure why I'm not in Indy running my own tested interviews. It's true. I don't know why nobody just watches this mildly enjoyed YouTube channel and goes, I'm going to send this guy to the Combine. But even when I could have gone for Football Outsiders, I didn't go because I opted to give one of my direct reports the chance to go and also to do all the production on scene that I did, I personally don't want to do in terms of like just, recording fucking the Football Outsiders guys back then. So that's generally how I operate is like, it was a guy who was basically my best direct report who did everything for me, was a manager of marketing there. And now he's like, I think a director for Churchill Downs. So doing pretty well for himself in terms of the Kentucky area jobs. But yeah, like basically I was like, this is your dream, man. You want to go to the Combine so bad, go. So for me, that's actually one of the highlights, I think, of my time at Football Outsiders, besides, me, Pete getting paid and me technically being paid to do the show daily or, somewhat daily. But just being able to make something happen for somebody that like they wanted to do for a while, I think is pretty cool. So I got Matt, who I'm sure does not watch Splash Play anymore, but at one point was an admin on the Splash Play channel because they were going to do more, and then I just couldn't ask them to do production work for my mildly enjoyed show. Bucky, your avoided tackle rate is blank and your EPA on passes is blank. How do you explain this? Specs. I would ask some tough questions about analytics. There's no denying that. Maybe one day I can get there. I just, I'm a homebody, I think, especially now that we have the 2-year-old where it's just like, it's hard to will yourself up. Like, I don't know how Pete goes on the road to do all the shit that he does. I feel like I'm talking about Pete too much today, but I was like, he's top of mind because watching the short now. So I'm just big in Pete biz. I really respect people that can balance that out a little better. Cause for me, it's like, I don't even think I've had more than one night away from the wife and baby since they've been born, since he was born, not since they both have been born. Running back heavy start for football in 34 here. Bijan and Jonathan Taylor. Can't argue it, but with guys like me taking Marvin Harrison and Malik Neighbors, he's running into some problems. Saquon Barkley goes pick 31. Don't love that. A more reasonable price for him, but I really think he is the one guy out of that free agent running back class that if he were to sit the entire year just waiting for a contract, because they never hit his price point, it wouldn't shock me. Still think it's most likely he goes back to the Giants, but I think talent-wise, he's probably the lowest on the food chain for me, but he's the highest ADP-wise, which doesn't make sense. Bad news for Travis Etienne. Doug Peterson given some combine interviews saying that they want to cut Etienne's workload to make him more efficient. That is not a great one. Do we have any rookies I have to reach for here? No. I still believe a lot in Drake London, as I think I've talked about enough here. Really think the Atlanta offense is going to make a move upwards. You guys might have seen the viral clip. Justin Fields' agent apparently on the phone with him saying, "Do you want to go home?" And Justin Fields then dancing around in celebratory fashion. So the rumors now, I think it's like a minus 300 now on DraftKings that Justin Fields goes to Atlanta. So could be an interesting one there. All right, anybody coming up I need to get here? Doesn't seem like it. Again, the ATN price tag should be coming down, especially when Peterson is actively saying they want to use Tank Bigsby. Like, that's not a great sign for anybody. Lamar here would be okay, but I don't think we'd be able to stack him up, really. I'm going to go Cooper Kupp again. We're going to get a little bit of veteran presence here for all the rookies I'm going to add. So Cooper Kupp, come on down. 4 wide receiver start. Extreme 0 RB perhaps in play, even though it's not 0 RB Friday. It's crazy that I'm doing this. I'm capable of doing this even on a Thursday. I would think my body would stop and go, no, take some running backs, take a tight end. But here we are. But MHJ, Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Cooper Kupp at wide receiver. And let's see what we can do. Didn't they say last year Tank Bigsby was going to be taking 40% of carries? Yes, they may have said that, but he was awful. So the hope is that he will be less awful. The fact they're committed to giving him more work, I think, is a positive sign. Obviously, if he busts, though, like if he's bad again like he was last year, then he's going to probably lose that role pretty fast. But I think a good sign that they're talking about that now, and probably a good sign the Jaguars are not going to waste any draft capital or even free agent capital at running back, or at least meaningful free agent capital. Rome Odunze goes 41. Not one of my favorite rookies, so it's fine. The upside for Rome Odunze is that he might run in the 4.3s. If he does, probably need to update his prospect profile and my priors on him a little bit more. But I think it's possible he runs in the low 4.4s, if not 4.5s. Again, that's me just going off of watching the game film where he plays a lot slower than guys like MHJ, which is crazy because MHJ is a very deliberate route runner who does things like to kind of set things up. So he's like moving a little bit slower than he can just to kind of set himself up where he needs to go in a route. And I think for Odunze, he's running like that full speed on a go. So we'll see. But point being for me, I'm happy to reach for Neighbors, happy to reach for Harrison, reaching for Rome Odunze, maybe in a wide receiver avalanche is it. You say that because he drafted Tank, maybe still trying to save his job. Good point by Al, and not a thing that's incorrect. As we talk about a lot in the show, the coaching hires, all of that very important. Not changing coaching staff, or I guess, it is changing in terms of the offensive coordinator, I believe, but not in terms of like Peterson being there, the front office being there. So you have the draft capital that they used on Bigsby, trying to use him last year. If they completely said they were going to phase him out and try to improve the position, I think I'd be worried about it. But I would tend to agree with that take that I think they're going to try to show that, we got Bigsby going. That's why you need to keep us. Because this year for Peterson, if they don't rebound meaningfully, I think he's fired. I think he should have been fired, honestly, after what they did last year. But instead, there's always the saving grace of like, I'll fire my whole coaching staff. And yeah, it's all their fault. And that's what the Jags did, basically. What happened to another Jacksonville running back to Brickashaw Ferguson? I know who you're talking. Dearness Johnson, of course, who we're talking about. But yes, he's fine. I mean, he's just at this point, one of those guys that anybody could float around with. That's how I felt about him last year too, which is part of why I was drafting Bigsby. And I think that play was still correct. They ended up giving Bigsby a shot. Bigsby was just had some egregious mistakes. Like at one point, he had I don't know, like a -1 EPA in terms of his receiving plays because he had like 2 passes, I believe, that bounced off his hands, like 2 targets that bounced off his hands and became interceptions. And I think one of them actually was like a touchdown, like a interception. So like I think for Tank, he had a really bad run out last year. He also, is not one of my favorites coming in. So like a little bit of juice in terms of avoid a tackle rate, but stuffed runs at a very high clip, which always kind of worries me. So for Tank Bigsby, it's just the Kyron Williams of it all, where the hope is that in year 2, another year in the system. And again, Peterson saying positive things that he can then be a guy that moves upwardly from that building up that trust. The ability to build up trust over just 1 year into year 2 is very much a thing that I think people underrate for a lot of guys at every position, really. Kadarius Toney going to be a league winner watch. I mean, look, if he goes somewhere new and there's vacated targets, I think he can. I think he could have had a good year last year. It's just that start where everything was being bobbled around was really tough for him. So I wouldn't fully put the blame on him for that, even though obviously it was mostly his fault. But why is Pacheco falling? Is just people worried about another running back coming in? It's now the second straight day where Pacheco has fallen a good amount here. And what picks do I have coming up? All right. I'm pretty okay taking Pacheco here, I think. Let's do it. Pacheco, come on down. Our first running back off the board, getting another share of that KC offense. As we talked about yesterday, I do like getting KC shares without getting Patrick Mahomes. I think that Patrick Mahomes is entering a stage in his career where a lot of quarterbacks do, where you're so good that you really don't have to throw for 400 yards in a game. Especially if your defense can keep up like the Chiefs defense did this year. That's the hope with, I think, what they're trying to do. Some of the free agent tags or the franchise tags, rather than putting that on Snead, try to keep things together on defense. So I don't expect Mahomes to suddenly be like a high volume thrower again. And somebody asked me about that pretty deliberately yesterday. Brock Bowers isn't going to be here on the way back, and I'm getting all my fucking rookies. So Brock Bowers, you are my tight end here. I love the start. Do you? Tell me about it in the comments or in the chat right now. Isaiah Pacheco, though, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Cooper Kupp, Brock Bowers. This team, look, ADP value. I mean, we got value on Pacheco, but for the most part, ADP value out the window. Still think this team is fun. I think this team fucks. I'm having a great time doing this draft. Personally, like this is a really nice one. Had a good day in NBA yesterday too, though. I have to say, for all you guys, I do talk about stochastic here. I'll put the ad up while we talk about NBA DFS for a moment. And of course, it's Flash Play here. It's fantasy football year round, but I talk about other things because that's got to fill an hour a day. Big NBA slate again yesterday. Didn't realize when I did the stream that it was another $4 entry fee slate. So their big micro maxes have been a lot of fun to do. 100K to first place and all that. The tough part is like yesterday, if you guys follow basketball, I had Jaren Jackson a lot again. For some reason, my projections love Jaren Jackson. And he went off, had 60 points at like a $7,500 salary. So he went off in a major way. Despite that, though, I only finished like 125th, I think, was like my top lineup. So really hard to win in those tournaments. 100,000 people in them. Still getting, a top 1% lineup is a good thing. I was actually listening to our pal Neil Orfield talk about that on his channel, the Playing for Keeps show. Very fun interview, or I guess maybe not even fun, because these guys are not, I don't think that I would describe Neil and Ship My Money as fun. Very insightful interview if you are a DFS player. So point being, I think that there's NBA DFS very tough. I do think the Sims keep you live, even though I felt like I just don't get why I didn't fucking have something that broke out. But it was almost a 400-point slate yesterday, so that's going to happen. Point being, though, the Sims make you feel live always. Obviously, I use my own projections. That is one thing. They use Stochastics minutes projections I talk about here. But their Sims tool is great. You get 15% off of any of their packages there with the promo code SPLASH. And check the link in the description, too, if you just want to click a link and go over there. But NBA Sims tools, I know a lot of you guys are trying that out. Keep doing it. PGA, also a lot of fun. MMA, I think, is the one that I don't know if there's a UFC card of note this weekend, but I would like to do MMA lineups again. And tomorrow I'll be playing the NBA slate again. So I think it's a lot of fun, especially if you're a person with like me. Like I can't blow 3K in bankroll a night now. I just don't have that ability with Probably and trying to get my own businesses up and running. These $600 tournaments, a lot more reasonable, I think. And you get your 150 entries in, and with the Sims tools, boost ROIs up and down to try to flatten your exposures if you want to do that, or if you just have guys that you really believe in. I think it's a very good time to be playing those tournaments if you don't have a massive bankroll. That's my plug. And of course, Underdog as well. We're playing Underdog right now, playing on it every day. I'm in for another year of Underdog, being one of their preeminent providers of content. I need to come up with something fancy to act like, Selleman calls himself Jack Selleman. It's like, oh, I'm the head of winning or whatever. I'm the old reliable cow of Underdog. I'm here every day mowing on my grass in a draft. But that's what we are here. So use that promo code SPLASH if you are new on Underdog and get in the fun. Basketball season, very fun. And in particular, these next 4 to 6 weeks, a lot of changes in ADP going to be coming up in the big board. And, definitely, obviously, by the time the draft hits, then the big board will be done. But then new tournaments will be open immediately. So that's the fun of it all. It's a process. So if you get them to allow pickups in Florida, would appreciate it. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. They're going to have to pay the Florida Seminole tribes a lot of money is what they're going to have to do, unfortunately. But that's the name of the game. But, hey, Hard Rock's there, right? Hard Rock's some soft lines. I can tell you that from our probably data. Fucking football took Troy Franklin 79. I was going to take him on these next 2 picks. God damn it. I'm tilted. I've been getting my guys. I'm just going ahead of ADP to get him today. And I really thought I'd get Troy Franklin as the perfect wide receiver 5. But no, this guy, football on 34. If you're in the chat, football on 34, thumbs down. Thumbs down. Bad driving. All right, we got Pacheco. We got MHJ. There's really now not going to be a rookie that we have to get. So we're going to take Justin Fields here for the bet that he does go to Atlanta. Pick 83. Very good for him. We saw Fields get reached for in the 60s yesterday, and I feel good about taking Fields at this range, and I would feel good taking Fields up until he gets to the 60s, but not right now. I would not take him in the 60s because you don't have to. Pacheco, MHJ, Malik Neighbors, Drake, Cooper Kupp, and Fields at QB. What else can we do here? We could make the bet that one of Harrison and Neighbors goes to Arizona, make this team even better at QB, double QB build. Let's do it. Kyler and Justin Fields in a row. I am really liking this team, guys. I feel like this is a very strong one. I'm glad. Thank you, Crypto Pooper. Crypto Pooper gets the credit. It was not him who took one of my cherished little babies here, but I could have lived without Kyler Murray or Justin Fields to get Troy Franklin, even though I think this team is pretty sick. Team so far, we got Justin Fields and Kyler Murray at QB. At running back, Isaiah Pacheco, our one non-zero RB pick. Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Cooper Kupp, and then Brock Bowers at tight end. So the one thing missing for the title of the video, I am not getting all my favorite rookies because Troy Franklin went a little bit aggressively ahead of ADP. So dag nabbit. Should have took Pitts. I already got Bowers. Why would I downgrade tight end to take Pitts? I do think the Pitts renaissance, I'm willing to buy in on that. Justin Fields really used Cole Kmet well at times last year. Obviously not the same player, but I think Pitts is a better version in terms of the pass game of what a Cole Kmet brings. So the fact that Cole Kmet was like a viable red zone target, had some spike weeks, had a decent floor most weeks, and I do believe, again, this offense that they're importing from the Rams, with Zach Robinson being the offensive coordinator there, I think there's going to be a lot of good things that come, whether it be Justin Fields, and that's the assumption right now, or it's Jaden Daniels, a JJ McCarthy, a Kirk Cousins in free agency, though that's looking less likely as well. It seems like Fields, though, is the bet to make right now. Troy Franklin went almost as aggressively as Malik Neighbors. I mean, Troy Franklin is not going to have the draft capital of Malik Neighbors. Feels hard to imagine Malik Neighbors not going top 5. So that's sort of the difference. But I love Troy. I want Troy when I take him at pick 79. Not when somebody else does. Nobody else is valuing Troy like that unless there's somebody who follows his channel, and then maybe they are. You're going to take him at 82. All right, so I guess I had no shot at taking Troy because I was going to take Troy at 83 or 86. So there we go. So Steve, big punisher here in the 10 hole, making me feel better about the fact that I was apparently not going to get Troy no matter what. Always great to have my friends who know the things that I want to do in drafts so they can also do it before me in a room. But we persevere nonetheless. When we get to BBM season, going to be harder to get into rooms with me because those are always going to be filling pretty fast. So I'll get rid of you guys one way or another. You rascals. Khalil Shakir going pick 99. Honestly feels like a fair price tag. He is a better version of what Sky Moore was last year, so he could go in the 80s, and I'd probably be okay with it. Cock Bowers and Bustin Fields. First of all, I don't expect Bindles to be top. Is Tyler on Bindles' handle? But yeah, I think that I don't know about Bustin Fields. Are we saying that he's going to be ejaculating or that he's going to be busting as a pick? Because yeah, or is he going to be getting suddenly very busty with whatever he gets traded? Do you think there's value with Dobbs, or is Green Bay just too many mouths to feed? So, like, Dobbs, the one thing that stuck out for me, as I mentioned a lot here, which gave me some concerns about Christian Watson, was that Dobbs worked with Jordan Love the entire offseason and, like, was traveling to go throw with them and all that stuff. So, like, that helped last year. I don't know that it helps as much this year with Jaden Reed getting better, Christian Watson hopefully getting healthier. Dontavian Wicks, I think, can make a leap upward too. So I'm not the biggest believer in Dobbs, but he does seem to have a little bit of a special connection with Love. I just think that everybody else in that wide receiver room is more talented. Squirt Squad is a bad influence on fledgling YouTubers. That's true. Our guy Bindles passed, by the way, 200 subs. So shout out to our guy Bindles and give him a sub if you want some more best ball content in your life that is outside the same ones of everybody else out there. Caleb Williams goes at 106. Here's the bad news. This is probably not going to be a Jaden Daniels draft because I went a little bit piggly at QB. Keon Coleman, not one of my favorite rookies. I think Javonte's a good pick at this point. 11 picks after ADP will do it. Javonte, another running back ad, 2241. Oh, thank you, Jeff. I don't know if Jeff is being sarcastic about Lad. Could you confirm, Jeff? Because I feel like you're mocking the Lad Steam, but you might actually just like Lad, so that's possible. Wicks looks like a monster. Yeah, I mean, look, I think he looks really good. I still prefer Christian Watson, but if Christian Watson ends up doing the shit he did this year, where he just is not healthy enough to go, like Wicks is probably the one who takes a leap upwards. And also, like, Bo Melton wasn't that bad. Like, they really did well with not a lot of wide receiver capital. So kudos to the Packers for what they did. So I wanted to get Chase Brown here, and I'm going to get him. So that's sometimes how drafting works. 2, 3, 4, 1, Justin Fields and Kyler Murray, Isaiah Pacheco, Javonte Williams, Chase Brown, Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Cooper Kupp, Brock Bowers. Again, I think this team, I think we can all agree, this team's got its genitals out, and it is ready. It is turgid. It is ready to go because this team fucks. This team fucks hard. This team fucks relentlessly, aggressively, vigorously, lusciously. Honestly, a well-rounded team. There we go. That's another way to say that. Well-rounded teams fuck. You know. Who could resist a nice, well-rounded team with all their curves in the right places? Who could? Who among us could? If you enjoy talking about the sex appeal of my team, please subscribe down below. Splash Play on that march down to 4K subs, to 5K subs, to 10K subs, to 1,000,000 subs. We need to keep growing. Need you to be a part of it. So please hit that like button here. Helps us get seen by more people. And this is my job. So really, you are personally helping out my job, my career, my joy, everything I do here. And help me grow the channel too. Because again, the more the channel grows, the more I can do and the more I can dedicate resources to it, which is the hope here. So hit that like button, subscribe, and join. Drafties every day. This team is a Riley Reid of fucking. Oh, we get to know everybody's preferences now. I would say this team is a Gabby Carter of fucking. Well-rounded and you know, very very capable of doing a lot of content. That's what this team is. Did I have a bong hit before? Yeah, I don't know, Steve. What are we, the cops? Jaden Daniels goes pick 119. So, look, tomorrow I'll get one more shot at a perfect rookie draft. It's obviously 0 RB Friday tomorrow. So, if I do this exact same thing tomorrow, don't be surprised. But the guys I didn't get that I would like to get, Jaden Daniels, Troy Franklin, those are the big two right now. And we will see what we get on the way back. Fucking Deshaun Watson going to be my most drafted player. He's too cheap at ADP. I get it. Where is he at now? Has he moved at all? I feel like enough people have said that he's too cheap at ADP. He's come up a little, 155, but still too cheap. You know, the hope has just got to be that he could be a fraction of what he was in the past. What happened last year was really bad for them. That's the one thing. He just added no value, really. And again, some of the worst plays in football last year were Deshaun Watson dropbacks. The one that I always talk about was like when he was throwing the ball and he somehow got confused as to which way they were going in the field and ended up throwing the ball backwards. It's like one of the worst plays legitimately of the year. So for Deshaun, Can't get worse, I don't think. Sean too horny at ADP. I mean, well, won't say he fucks. I don't want my team to be Deshaun Watson. Who's a preeminent Italian porn star? I don't know. It's a good question. Pizza Puss. That's a. Can you imagine if there were a porn star named Pizza Puss? An Italian American porn star, or just I guess regular old Italian. I think no. Ron Jeremy Jewish. Ron Jeremy is Jewish, I believe. No, don't give him us. I think Ron Jeremy got very canceled late. Come on, man. Suck a Macaccia. Oh, you're killing me. Killing me. Our guy Ross. Robert Griffin III. Best username around. And jokes like that. All right, we got 4 wide receivers. So really could use some wide receivers. I see our guy Adam here. Fucking Lad McConkey's team, by the way. Adam tagging me in tweets with Mina Kimes talking about Lad. Fucking what's the guy from PFF, or was it PFF? I don't know if he still is. Talking about Lad. I mean, look, this is already not my perfect rookie draft, so I'm going to make it less perfect. Lad McConkey, come on down. Adam, you win. You win. Here you go. Round of applause for Adam. And then we got another pick coming up here. 2, 3, 5, 1. Could use another wide receiver. But also, we want to get some fucking sick dudes in. Bucky Irving, come on down. You're on the thumbnail, and now you're on my squad. Pizza Puss Bonk by Bindles. Thank you for the super chat, Bindles. I appreciate you very much. Go subscribe to the Bindles channel. And here is, of course, the Bonk dog. I don't have the one that Pete had of my face on it, unfortunately. So that one will forever be lost to the embers. But anything else here? And here's Daffy Duck looking at my team. Oh, yeah, he loves it. He says, go get Marvin Harrison. Go get Malik Neighbors. Go get that hot wide receiver jailbait for yourself. You deserve it. That's not how Daffy Duck talks. How does Daffy Duck talk? Go get yourself go get yourself some young pieces of wide receiver. I think that's it's like not a bad Daffy Duck. Unprepared. Dad McCockley. Here we go. Here we go for Adam. Hell yes. Hell yes. P-star analysis over rookie analysis. Look, you know, when you get a Quest headset, you become very familiar with all the sorted characters. Lad's a definition of sex appeal. Lad McDongley. Look, I don't think Lad's going to be good personally, but look, some people are fucking in on him. I don't like. I get it. I think it is people wanting to find the Puka this year, and Lad in terms of like the route running, size there. Lad not a guy that takes a few carries. I don't think, unless there's something I'm not aware of, like a Puka did in college. But I think it's just people straining so hard to find the Lad that they're like, like Lad McConkey, Roman Wilson. These guys are the Puka. And it's like, there isn't a Puka. There's fucking some stars up top. Like, can we just be happy that we have Marvin Harrison and Malik Neighbors and Troy Franklin, and also that Rome Odunze exists, I suppose? Can we be happy with those guys? Can we stop trying to make every wide receiver a thing? That'd be my suggestion for this class, but, that's me. Oh, Steve going with the vintage one. You got canceled for that one back in the day. They didn't check IDs back in the day on that one. Oh, is he MAGA approved? Oh, there we go. As long as he wears, who's going to be the football player who puts cleats on the Trump sneakers? Who's going to be the one that does it? Is it Lad? Can't wait. Spags, where I send my drafts, you can rate one of them. Good question. If you're on Pete's Depositing Discord, you can find me on there, Chris Spags, or you could DM me on Twitter. I guess Instagram if you don't have Twitter. But Chris Spags on everything if you want to send me your teams. But yes, if you are a paying member here, 10 team reviews a month. So if you want me to take a look at your stuff, give you some feedback, mostly talk about construction kind of things and people's bad habits that I observe. Our guy, Robert Griffin III in chat can attest. Hopefully I try to give really like helpful critiques that give you things to work on a little bit more. But if you are a paying member here and you've hit that join button now for $4.99 a month, 10 team reviews a month you can get from me. So DM me, Chris Spags, anywhere, Twitter or Instagram, or on the Deposit Kingdom Discord if you're on there. Some point we'll have an actual Splash Play Discord, but I just haven't figured that out with Pete yet. Chuck reached for Rome. I mean, look, you got excited. I got Neighbors and Harrison, and you got Rome. So there's always got to be a bronze medalist. You know, you can't have a podium without a bronze medalist. So Romo Dunze, come on down. Wildly helpful, though I won't waste your time with my one dog shit big border. All right, fair enough. But yeah, really enjoyed that process with Ross last year. So the more that people want to do stuff like that, the better. All right. Got 2 picks before mine. Steve's going to fuck me. I knew it. Steve, why are you in the chat? I'm talking about my perfect rookie draft. You take one of my perfect rookies. Why do people do this to me? I'm gonna fucking change the draft times because of you people for things like this. Taking Audric Estime, the pick before mine, when you know I love Audric Estime. I'm reaching for Marshawn Lloyd as my consolation prize. Unfucking believable, man. I don't want to draft with you guys. Is this the appeal to ruin my fucking day? Is this what you want? Does this bring you joy to just take my joy away? 2551 here. Michael Mayer's too cheap. 2552. Team so far. No Audric Estime on it. 2552, 0 Audric Estime is Justin Fields and Kyler Murray at QB. Isaiah Pacheco, Javonte Williams, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, and Marshawn Lloyd, who is not quite Audric Estime, but still at 165.6. We reached for him there. It's fine. Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Cooper Kupp, and Ladd McConkey at wide receiver. Here's the wide receiver room of Thelma and Louise is what I'm presenting here. A dated reference, but sure. Ladd McConkey, though, caps us off there. Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. It's not about drafting everyone I want. It's that the people who come into my draft rooms who regularly watch Splash Play, and Steve's a member, so he gets one for free. I'll give it to him. But it's like because they fall in love with the players that I love, then it ends up that I'm competing for players that I wouldn't have to compete with if I were doing it off stream. So that's the bigger issue. That's the bigger issue. It's fine. Just be aware when you guys aren't allowed in my draft room because I'm sneaking around like a ninja. Just keep that in mind. Moments like this is why we watch you. Fair enough. I guess that's a good point. I'm going to keep yelling, but that's a fair point. But I still want my guys. I want my tasty treats. I want to get them alone on a boat. I want the implication. I want the implication for Audric Estime. I want him to be there on the boat with me and be wondering, what's this guy going to do? Is he going to draft me? And yeah, I would draft you, Audric, but instead you got pirated away by Big Punisher. Rest in peace. That is a tasty. So get out of town. Oh, Trey Lance still available. I don't need a QB. I guess he might be a running back at this point. Should have stolen Thielen again. Yes, everybody wants Thielen. He's a hot commodity. Will you just take Blake Corum already? No, never. If I were to take Blake Corum, pick 179 to feel pretty good. Blake Corum FUD starting on social media for people who aren't me, which is pretty fun. I think it was Zach Kruger over at NBC pointing out Blake Corum, basically efficiency fell off the cliff, yards after contact fell off the cliff in the back half of last year. Some other people worried about his knee injury history and the fact he's a little bit older. Blake Corum, warned you about it here first, but Blake Corum going the wrong way based on public perception, it seems. Though, who knows? Maybe he'll do something magical at the Combine. I don't think so. So know what the fuck Jalen Polk is. Jalen Polk, we talk about him a little bit here. He's the poor man's Romo Dunze in that Washington offense. So different kind of player. Pretty good out wide, 3.3 targets a game. Not a lot, but a 0.59 EPA would be pretty good out wide. 0.34 EPA per target overall. 25% target per out run rate is the big issue. Did not earn targets well. And then in the red zone, not a lot in the red zone. Had 0.7 targets per game in the red zone. By comparison, Romo Dunze had 1.3. So it was a clear number 2 to Odunze, who probably benefited a little bit from having Odunze there, would be my guess. Kind of like the Brian Thomas thing that we talk about. Brian Thomas, a downfield receiver, benefits because Malik Neighbors draws a lot of attention underneath. For Jalen Polk, he benefits from the fact that we had Romo Dunze going downfield a lot. And Polk, too, I think got downfield a little bit. 13.8 intended air yards per attempt. 102 air yards per game, but Michael Penix was just a pure air yards merchant, much like a Jameis Winston. Guys who throw the ball downfield a lot just gives their receivers a lot more chances to make plays. Then Washington have 3 wide receivers. The third not in the draft. I don't know who the third is offhand. I only know the people I have on my sheets from the various mock drafts. Donovan Edwards, the Michigan back you want next year. He looked great in the championship game. I did look a little bit at the analytics, and I know he was better than Blake Corum, and basically all the stats I value, the avoided tackle rate, where Corum is really bad at a 10% avoided tackle rate this year. But higher EPA guy, higher avoided tackle rate, I think was better in the pass game too. Corum, I know because of the one guy who was like really annoying about Blake Corum, I've become really anti Blake Corum. But I do think that he's still, he's okay. He's just not appropriately priced. He shouldn't, as I've said from day one, he shouldn't be going ahead of Bucky Irving and Audric Estime. And at this point, I think he should be more lateral to Marshawn Lloyd than he probably is. Let the man have his tasty treats, people. I agree. Everybody knows me and Audric Estime, we go way back. I say, hey, you're like a fit Leonard Fournette. And he goes, thank you, man. That's what I've been working so hard for. Thank you for that compliment, bro. Ricky Pearsall, another guy I've seen being compared to a Puka Nacua. Malachi Corley, another guy you can make a Puka Nacua case for. And we'll make that case today. Malachi Corley, come on down. Small guy, 35% target route run rate in college. An elite target earner. The issue, 5.4 ADOT. Average depth of target, obviously, for that. So I know these numbers offhand because it befuddles me with Malachi Corley. Malachi Corley avoided tackles pretty well, 19% avoided tackle rate. Not as great as like a Malik Neighbors, who's at 32%. But I think Corley at this range for a wide receiver 6. Frankly, no disrespect to our pal Adam here, I like Corley more than Ladd McConkey personally. I think Corley's got juice. I don't think Ladd does from what I've seen. But look, but I took Ladd here, so we're making a bet that he does have juice. 2562 here. Do we want to make a bet on old no Achilles, J.K. Dobbins? Make a rare bet on Eli Mitchell at this point? Okay, got him. Eli Mitchell, come on down. RB6, 2662 so far. Justin Fields and Kyler Murray. Isaiah Pacheco, Javonte Williams, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Marshawn Lloyd, Eli Mitchell, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Cooper Kupp, Ladd McConkey, and Malachi Corley, and then Brock Bowers, the tight end, along with Michael Mayer. The no headshot gang. Thriving in the sunlight. That'd be the name if they were roaming the Wild West, the no headshot gang. Though I'd hope they hit headshots, if they were roaming the Wild West. You gotta be efficient with your side pistol. Side pistol. You can tell how much I don't know guns besides video games. I just want the world to know the fun ride that is Ladd McConkey. All right, Adam. Look, I would have had probably fucking 0 Ladd McConkey. No, I wouldn't have had 0 because enough people who I think have credible cases online have said that he's okay. But again, it's just like, it's such a bad sign for me if you're not a top 200 target earner. Like I just think that speaks for itself, but it is what it is. Bindles, Jesus. I'm not even going to read that one. Ray Davis, did not read the whole piece, but a piece in The Athletic about him today. Was homeless as a child. Inspiring story. Wants everybody to know his name, even though like Ray Davis is such a fucking generic name. So I don't know. That's like the one. If you're like Marshawn Lloyd, yeah, like everybody can know your name. If you're Jalen Polk, yeah, everybody can know your name. If you're Ray Davis, it's like, oh, is this guy like a B actor? Like, is he one of those guys in movies, or is he a 5th round running back with multiple knee injuries in the past? But Ray Davis there, 172. I don't agree with the steam. I'd rather have Jalen Wright, even though I also don't agree with that steam. People just kind of straining their eyes for running backs. Really not a lot in the class that you should be trying to force your way to, but people will. Money shots, that's true. I am the man in the money hat. I just have money shots all over my head, don't I? Love coming on stream and getting some money shots on my face. My mailman and dentist is Ray Davis. It's a very generic name. That's what it is. DeBrickashaw Ferguson. Yeah, I mean, like that's the most iconic of names. The Kool-Aid McKinstry going to surge this year as another fun name. I want like skill position guys that have fun names. Like Bucky is fun. Bucky Irving's real name, by the way, is like something fucking insane. Hold on. I only saw it for the first time today because I was doing the thumbnail for him. Marquise Irving, MAR''KEISE. Marquise Irving is Bucky here. So Bucky, much cuter name, I'd say. Sounds like a kind of like a Rocket Raccoon type. Oops. Okay. I'm on the wrong tab. There I was like, fucking, where's the window? I didn't realize that I opened my Bucky Irving search in the same window. Mark Wise. Nathan Ruffalo. That's a cool name. Are you related to the one Ruffalo we all know, Nathan? Please let me know. Oh, haha, Clinton Dick's pretty good too. That's true. Haha. Rashad Bateman goes at 198. Positive coach speak for Rashad Bateman from Jim Harbaugh at the Combine. Jim Harbaugh? Yeah. At the Combine. No, John Harbaugh. Sorry. Now they're both in the NFL again, so it's fucking with me. But either is saying that basically like they do expect Bateman to take a leap, and a coach speak in next, the Twitter handle that I know has been mentioned a lot in football media lately. Apparently Harbaugh, very high track record of coach speak accuracy. I think 85% is what the guy grades it at. Though that's not like a real number, but does seem like he's a pretty accurate guy. So maybe Bateman gets one more shot if you want to talk yourself into it. All right, coming up here, 2662. Definitely need some more wide receivers. And not really any rookies I'm like going out of my way to get here. So I'm going to take Jonathan Mingo just in the hopes that he can be less awful than he was last year. Mingo, a guy, one of a few that I really took a stand and saying I do not like. Then he got the draft capital kind of to back off, but negative 0.33 EPA per target last year, 16.6% target per out run rate for Mingo. Not very good. But he'll, Dave Canalising up this offense, I think a good thing for Mingo. So we'll give it a shot. Mark Ruffalo's a cousin. Good. Hope he's passing along all the scraps, all the scraps of fame. 2672. What do we do next? I see one play that I'm not like dying to make, but I can make, I think. Don't think I need to make, but I could make. A QB that I think is a little bit underrated at this range, even though he was awful last year. All right, so I'm thinking about taking Bryce Young. I think that would be an okay pick right here. You know, Demarcus Robinson, we have a little bet on the Rams. He is coming back as our wide receiver 3. Do I really need a third QB, though? I just think Bryce Young's too cheap, and I think he can give me usable weeks, even though Fields and Murray going to carry the load here, but that's fine. Bryce Young and Jonathan Mingo, a little micro stack. And when Jonathan Mingo and Bryce Young go off in week 17, I don't have a single share of them in BBM because they somehow came to a price I don't want to draft them anymore. Let's remember that this is where it all went down. Getting that one little unique stack with Bryce Young and Mingo. JJ McCarthy, not needed. Not one of my favorite rookies. Perfectly acceptable rookie to take late, which, frankly, is how I landed on a good amount of CJ Stroud last year. Was I really thought that Stroud was a very good bailout QB, relative to his talent level, even though I didn't think Houston was going to be good last year, and they ended up being very good. So, for some of these guys like a McCarthy, if you just don't have stacks, I'm okay taking McCarthy late. I saw Hoosier. I didn't reply to your comment yet, Hoosier, but Dog is Jim Harbaugh's nickname according to Pro Football Reference. So there we go. But I don't think that's why Crypto here was talking about a dog. It's because his avatar is that of a dog. But he is Poophead here, and Poophead has not gotten in my way today that I'm aware of. So shout out to Poophead219. And shout out to all of you guys watching live right after the fact. Again, we'll quickly ask for likes, subscribes, and all that here. Drafts every day, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. That is the goal here. And we're going to keep doing it. And this is draft number 23. I forgot to say the date. It's fucking leap day, guys. It's February 29th. This is the first time I forgot to do the date in the video. But yes, draft number 23, February 29th. So a magical day today. Ben Sinnott goes to Poophead, which is fine. Sure, I think I could have gotten Ben Sinnott in round 19 in most rooms, but, look, as the Snowman pointed out, people are listening to me. I'll look at the positive every time that I lose a player that I like that in a normal draft room would be available in round 20, and I'll just go, thank you for listening to me. That's how I'll cope. Frankly, not the worst mantra to have. Even if you're arguing with your wife or whatever, your fella, your tasty treats on a boat, you just go oh, thank you for listening to me. And I feel like that's a nice thing to say because people don't listen, They just go blah, 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 blah. So thanks, Poophead, for listening to all my Ben Sinnott takes. Me being the only one in the world who thinks that he's great. Leap day means do it like the frogs, from the back and the top and croak when you coom. Oh, I don't like coom spelled like that. Derek Carr goes at pick 216. Too cheap. Why? Like, okay, so just the kind of thing that I think sometimes people miss in some of this stuff. So why is Chris Olave going pick 27 if he's like his QB who's now locked in for at least one more year, likely 2 years, because the Saints have no contract wiggle room? Why is his QB going to 216? Like, it makes no sense. Even Shaheed, like Shaheed's come up enough in ADP where he's not free. Where did he go? He went pick 120. So we have a guy going pick 27, a guy going pick 120. Even Kendre and Kamara. Kamara's not the most likely to be a Saint, but it's just like, it's so dumb that Carr's going 216. I don't think that you need to take Carr in every draft, but like, it is one of those things that it's like, people just fucking miss that gap. Where if you're taking Olave, Derek Carr has to be useful, because otherwise Olave can't possibly pay off a 27 ADP. Yeah, and that's right. He did have the hot run down the home stretch too. QB2 weeks 15 to 17. Not that he's going to do that again necessarily, but he's just like, he's a starting QB. Like, why are we taking Bryce Young? Bryce Young made sense for me, but like, why are we taking, I don't know. I guess there's really not anybody who I'm saying we really have to take behind Carr, but just pick 216 is too late. And that's really my logic, what we talked about yesterday with the QBs, the right pocket to pick QBs. There isn't really a right pocket because it's just wherever you're picking that you line up and you get a good QB. And getting Carr 216 compared to getting Aaron Rodgers at 153, compared to getting Stafford at 129, Goff at 113, they're not different enough plays. So I don't know. Carr is Melba toast, but yesterday drafted him. Look, he's on an offense with explosive playmakers that should have some target concentration as well. Michael Thomas definitely not going to be back. A.T. Perry, a guy you get for free with that stack too, and he was one of the best EPA receivers last year. Basically added a point every time he was targeted in terms of the expected points added metric. So, you know, like I just think it's a bad price tag for Carr to not take him, especially if you have like one of the bets on the Saints already. But whatever. I'm sure it'll adjust a little bit over the course of the offseason. We don't need another QB. We've got 3. You know, Justice Hill does seem like the Ravens linked a lot to free agent running backs, so I think Justice Hill will get upset at that position, but he's going to likely start the year with a role. So I'm going to take Justice Hill here. 3772 for me. One more pick left. Thinking wide receiver for it. Could do tight end, but for what? We also haven't talked about here, Johnny Smith cut by the Falcons. So we talked about Kyle Pitts earlier, and I probably should have mentioned that, but Johnny Smith officially being gone, definitely not a bad thing for the prospects of Kyle Pitts, along with all the other good things that I think are looking up for him too. Bust as hell. Just can't draft anybody with a just in their name. Trey Tucker, huh? All right. I mean, I've been taking a lot of Taj Washington, and I do like Taj more. I think Taj is kind of an elevated Trey Tucker, but we have the bet on Michael Mayer, so I'll go with Jeff here. And Jeff, a trustworthy guy in general, so we will take Trey Tucker, assuming that Lyle here doesn't take him. Lyle Kittenhouse? This is what is going on? What is final team? Justin Fields, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young at QB, Lyle Kittenhouse ahead of me in the draft board, Isaiah Pacheco, Javonte Williams, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Marshawn Lloyd, Eli Mitchell, Justice Hill at running back, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Cooper Kupp, Lad McConkey, Malachi Corley, Jonathan Mingo, and Trey Tucker at receiver, and a tight end, Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. Look, it wasn't all the rookies. Didn't get Troy Franklin, didn't get Jane Daniels, didn't get Ben Sinnott, didn't get Audric Estime. If I'd gotten all of those, that would have been it, but we're going to try again tomorrow here. So there we go. That's the team. Appreciate all you guys being with me on this ride today, along with Lyle Kittenhouse. Unfucking please subscribe down below. Please hit the like button. Leave a comment if you're watching after the fact. Helps me out here, growing the channel, putting my whole ass into the work here, showing up every day with new info, with new takes, and hopefully giving you guys an entertaining draft here Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Subscribe down below. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Of course, if you're playing Underdog for the first time, use that promo code SPLASH. Double your deposit to $100. A lot of fun drafting teams. It's early. Obviously, more information, more drafts come out. You get better opportunities to build better teams. That's the goal. But draft along this all year long at Underdog with that promo code SPLASH and double your deposit up to $100 and get a mystery pick'em with that as well. Stochastic. Tomorrow, again, another $4 slate or $4 entry fee slate for NBA. I can tell you I'll be maxing it out using Stochastic's tools and data. And I've been live again. I've profited the last $4 150 max slates, last 2 of them that there have been. So I guess all of them that there have been. But basically feeling really good about the process with that. You can do it too. And again, really think that the bankroll going a little bit further helps out with that too. And the Sims from Stochastic do a great job helping you elevate parts of your game and find good lineups. So check it out. Promo code SPLASH, save 15%. Or check the link in the description. And of course, probably is my baby. Some signups yesterday, which I appreciate. If you want to support Splash Play, another way to do that will also getting yourself great betting info. The best bets in the world we track according to the top sports books around the world, the ones that win the most. And yesterday hit on a plus 325 Grizzlies first half money line. So that's what we're doing here. We're giving you takes that you're just not going to find from people saying, hey, LeBron plays good games against Clippers. Take over. Like that. We had those bets as overs too because of the math behind it, because of the probabilities and all of that. So check it out for yourself at Probably. 7-day free trial, Probably on the App Store, or use promo code SPLASH on probably.com/subscribe to save 50%. And thank you to all these fine folks help me put the show on. You too can be on this list by joining down below. Get 10 team reviews a month, as well as some custom content coming up after the combine. But hit that join button, $4.99 a month, and join the Squirt Squad officially. Back tomorrow with more. Subscribe. I'll see you guys then. Be a tasty treat, and I'll see you guys soon. Good luck. Bye.